link that I'm putting in now to join the conversation, or you can use your little fingers and thumbs and chat with us. Um, just text us, chat with us. But so there are so many issues, from state to state, the rules are different on how people handle situations. So today we're talking about a situation that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where a homeowner shot someone that was trespassing, and it was not just a simple trespassing. It was more to it. We're going to show you that video. So this is the episode of What Would You Do? Would you shoot or would you not shoot? So without further ado, we're going to share this. So take a look.
This happened in February on a cold 6-degree night in South Minneapolis, in a neighborhood that's seen an increase in armed robberies. And the whole thing was caught on tape. Now, we warn you, some may find the content. After checking the locked gate, surveillance video outside the South Minneapolis home shows Martin Lee Johnson hopping the fence. A motion light turns on as Johnson approaches the home. According to police reports, the homeowner, a 53-year-old woman, heard Johnson wiggle the door handle and his steps on the deck. So she told her 26-year-old son, who lives with her, and grabbed her handgun as Johnson entered the family's detached garage. The homeowner opened the sliding door and fired warning shots in the air. On the surveillance video, you can hear the homeowner's son's voice as he joins her in yelling at the intruder. But instead of hopping back over the fence, Johnson walks toward them. And after 2 more warning shots, the fatal shot is fired by the son, who is standing next to his mother inside the open door, also holding a gun.
My clients were acting completely in self-defense.
Joe Tamburino is representing the mother and son, he says, at no charge.
They gave warning shots. They said go away, and he continued to approach their home. It was clear-cut.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office declined charges in the case, calling it valid self-defense. Despite protests from Johnson's family and friends, the armed homeowners told police taking a life is the last thing they wanted to happen.
Regardless of the circumstances, you have someone's life ending. I mean, these people are human beings. They're wonderful people. And knowing that someone's life ended is something that's very heavy to deal with. So, yeah, it's difficult.
All right, so that's what's up now. That was just a news report from a TV station in Minneapolis, and I put the link in the chat. So if you want to come on live and tell us what you would do, what you think. But Phyllis, let's hear from you. What would you do? What do you think?
Well, in the state of Texas, that's an iffy one because he was outside the residence, and they went out to meet him. That could get them in trouble in Texas. You do have a right to stand your ground on your property, but going outside your door, it's iffy. The family could really contest it and say he wasn't even in your house. He was outside and you went outside and shot him. Even though they said get out, get away, they fired warning shots. Had it been me, I would not go outside to approach him. Once he turned my door handle to my door, to the main residence, then there would be an issue.
Well, didn't he do that though? They had him on video turning the knob, but that was before they approached him. So maybe that's what, she thought. And
but they also could view him on the camera. So they watched his every move. He went into the shed outside, and then they went outside yelling, get out, leave, get away, fired warning shots. Then he comes out of there, and they still, yelling, get out, leave, fired another warning shot. He starts to approach them, and they shot and killed him. That's an iffy one. Because had they stayed in their home and he came inside that main residence, then they definitely have a strong defense. But because they went outside to meet him, that's iffy. Now, you like I say, you have every right to stand your ground and protect your property. But being that he was not inside the main residence where they were, his family could argue that he wasn't a threat. Had it been me, I would call the police, of course, and been on the line with them the entire time. And if I'm able to see what he's doing, I would tell them he's in the shed, and if he comes to my door, he's gonna get it. So y'all better get him.
Well, in that case, you know,
They
one,
never called the police. Do we have any recording of them calling the police until after the fact?
right,
Okay.
because you just played a part where they called the police, right?
But
You-
that was a different video
It was a
of
different
a
video.
different incident where the lady, and this was broad daylight. This issue was in
Oh,
Illinois, broad daylight, and the woman was on the phone with 911, 47-year-old woman. She lived alone, broad daylight, and he came in through her bathroom window. She said he came in through the bathroom. So she shot him half in the house and half out of the house.
mm. Oh, well, yeah, that's a definite. Yeah, I would shoot. But
Exactly. And she told him, she heard him coming in. She didn't have a surveillance camera, but she heard him coming in. She was on the phone with 911 the entire time.
well, first of all, these Ring cameras are just getting the best promotional
I'm
proof
telling you.
of anything. And it's just sometimes you just never know what's going to work in your favor. And
Exactly.
definitely all these things are working
Exactly.
in their favor. Um, but I would say doing things like having a security camera, one, two, light, what's that, motion detecting lights.
Mhm.
That, you're trying to, that probably worked in their favor, the lights. They're trying to tell you, go away, but when the light comes on and you
Mhm. We can
still,
see you. Yeah.
and if you still continue doing what you're doing, and it was in February where it was, actually very, very cold.
Hmm.
And so his family's like, well, he was trying to get warm. Why did he come to your house to get warm? Why
Right.
didn't
Well,
somebody
and with the way he was behaving, there seemed to be some disconnect because who walks towards someone shooting?
and saying, no, right, screaming at you?
Right. There was
And that's
definitely
another reason.
something going on with him. Something was not all there because that brother was determined um, to die, apparently, because his behavior was completely abnormal. Who walks towards someone shooting at him?
Right.
No criminal is that bad, and he didn't even have a weapon either that we know of.
And so it seems like had he just stayed, I don't know, but right, the fact that he started coming towards them like zombie like,
Exactly. There
it's
was there
like,
was
oh
definitely
yeah,
something missing. Something was not right.
right. And so I wouldn't, I would say I wouldn't blame the family for, I don't even want you to get to my door. Cause
Right. I
by
don't
the
have time
time,
to assess your mental faculties when you're threatening me in my home. Yes.
right, because depending on how well built the door was or whatever, by the time the police could get there, now you got a door that's broken down or whatever, and you
Hmm.
don't, it's 26 degrees outside and all of that.
Hmm.
So
Now, once he breaches my threshold, it's fair game.
well,
It's
you don't want to have
absolutely.
the door open for him to breach it. I mean, if he was trying to,
No, I'm saying if he kicks it in, it's breached. Okay.
I don't want to. I don't want him to bust it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to get to that point. I want him to be 6 feet away.
Right. I want him to be gone. But if he's going to, and my thought process is I never want to have to shoot anyone. Of course, no one wants to. but you don't know what the other person's thinking. You don't know if they have a weapon. You don't know what they're on. So I don't have time to assess that. But if you turn my doorknob, I'm going to yell out a warning. If you kick that door or you start, hitting the door with your body, you're getting that first shot. That's it. That's all. Because that means you're trying to get in, and when all that adrenaline is going, I've never been in that moment, right? Not in that specific moment where someone is breaking into my home and, I have the option to, fight or flight. All that adrenaline is going. You don't have time to really assess, what should I do?
Right. Right.
You just go into total self-defense mode. And our motto, I am my own first responder. I don't have time to wait for the police because we all know they're not coming in any hurry.
Right. Especially in weather like this.
Exactly.
So this is I guess they're showing at some point maybe they saw he came to the door, and then they don't know whether he's getting himself together in the shed to come back and try it again. So in that video it said that the attorney was like, I'm gonna represent you guys. And who's to say after all this video and all that they saw that this attorney was the one that made a difference? Because depending on the district attorney in your area, they could come up with some charges.
Indeed.
And it said that this happened in February. It took to April, so about 3 months for them to say we're going to drop the charges, or we're not going to charge you. And that's the scary part, is that it could take that long for
your name. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's I've never seen or very seldom have we seen very cut and dry situations like this. But had he been in the home, it wouldn't have taken this long. It would have been done. But because it happened outside the residence, that's the issue. Should we or should we not charge them? So that was the fight. I'm sure that was the big issue, the fight.
So we got Blythesome saying, could it be that he was trying to go back the way that he came in?
It could be. But if someone is shooting at you, why don't you just throw up your hands or run off? Unless he had to be incoherent, because you cannot be thinking sensibly to walk towards someone that has already fired off several shots, a warning shot, and you still come at them. Yeah. Something's not right about that. Nobody in their right mind walks towards gunfire.
Okay, so we're just gonna play it without the audio. So he is trying to get in, and
he has the wherewithal and thought to jump the fence.
Okay, so hold on. Let me stop the video. So if he was trying to go back the way he came in, he would have been going back towards that door.
Exactly. He passed it up.
Walking towards the people.
Right.
Blythesome that blows your argument out the water.
Yeah, because he passed up the entrance where he came in. He tried the door to the residence. It was locked. So he went to the shed and it wasn't locked. And that's where he went inside.
Okay, so Blyson is saying, that's the first time he saw the whole video. All right. Well, we thank you for engaging us. But yeah, if that was what he was trying to do, then going back over the fence then.
Yeah, going back the way you came. And you can go out even easier now because you don't have to jump it to get out. You can actually open it.
Right. Not unless it had like a lock on it, but right, ain't no way. So, it's just unfortunate that there
Mm.
are a lot of people who are homeless or in a situation. I was trying to stop the video. Homeless or in a situation where they find themselves not living a traditional life because
Mhm.
of mental uh, uh, disability or drugs. It could be different things,
Mhm.
and it's sad that we spend so much money helping other countries. I talked about this in another video where you look at all the millions or billions of dollars into Ukraine and to other countries to help them get their forces together, get their way of life together. And then you got Mississippi down the street where they have ignored the water treatment system for decades. And all they got for those people is don't drink the water.
Right.
But they send them millions and billions of dollars across the world to other people, and y'all can't even take the see what needs to be done about to reduce homelessness, to get people, and maybe they are doing it, and it's just
Well, you know why that is. They give to other countries so that they can be in debt to us. We give to those countries so they can be in debt to us. America is the biggest set of bullies that there is. So once we go over there and rescue them, by giving them money and whatever it is, resources that they need, then they owe us. They're in our debt, right?
right.
That's how we do, But right here at home, they, oh well, the water's bad. We'll deal with it when we get ready. All the politicians, they living good, eating good. Exactly, Blyson. They are the mob. They the biggest mob, the biggest set of bullies. Here at home, we'll just tell them don't drink the water. They'll be all right. We'll fix it when we fix it. But they living good, eating good, drinking good, letting people drink the water before they even see the signs of the water being bad. But the politicians and their family, friends, and loved ones know not to drink the water. When I saw like some of the video clips of the water coming out of the faucet, and it's just brown, like mud.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in Mississippi back in June. We
Are
were
you
in
right?
Jackson. And
Right.
I was just like, I stood there and I thought to myself, did we drink any of the water? But we didn't. We had bottled water the whole time we were there. But nevertheless, it's just a shame that people are living like they're living in a third world country, and that things have gotten so bad for people here at home that, like you said, mental incapacities got this man killed. Because I'm sure there was something missing for him to be out in that weather just looking for somewhere to go inside. And he couldn't have even communicated or said, wait, don't shoot, help, I need help. He didn't say anything. He didn't say a word. We could hear them yelling, leave, get out, go. And he never verbalized anything. And that's another thing that makes you think something's not right. It's even more fear instilled in you, because why is he not saying anything? Why is this fool walking towards me? You keep coming, I'm going to shoot you. I don't know that what their skill level was to shoot, with shooting, but just the way they kept shooting their arm out the window and fired and shot, like they were throwing rocks, you know what I'm saying? Like they were fishing. So you could tell they didn't, they just aimed and shot. I'm sure they didn't intend to or want to kill it, but you also don't want to be a sitting duck, because if it's you or me, it's going to be you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we got Cornelius Meeks in the chat, First Line Firearms. So welcome to the chat. And Blyson is saying he tried to get into the house and did not stop approaching. That would have made me feel he was a serious threat. So,
Exactly.
right. So that's why they, mother and son, they said, okay, at least one of us gonna get them. And it's, you don't want to, like you said, do that, but in the heat of the moment, you have to protect yourself. So
You
that's
do.
that's what happened. So if this was you, Meeks, tell us, would you have shot the guy, or would
You already know. I don't even know why you asked that question.
because Meeks would have had his third
Yeah. Once
justified.
he got to the curb, once he got on Meeks' curb, you hear me? I don't even know why you asked Meeks that question. He said, I shot someone in my backyard, but he reached for his gun. I can't say what I would have done in this situation. Right. You don't want to, but you don't have time to assess his mental capacities either. Like, say, man, what do you want? What you looking for? What you here for? You know? He wasn't listening to any reasoning. There were too many warning shots fired. He was inside the shed. He came out like, hey, what's going on out here? You know? And starts to approach, and they're firing shots, and he's still coming for them. And like, I'm sure later there will be more details revealed about his mental capacity. His family would have to reveal that in order to at least try to show some justification for his behavior, even though there is none, you know.
Well, and it seems like they would have already said something if this happened in February and it took, to April. Maybe they thought that they were going to be held accountable or held or charged. Let me say that, charged. But they and that's what I'm thinking, if they want to say anything, they have to look at the relationship that they had with him, where he had to be outside in the middle of the
Exactly.
night in February in 20-degree weather. Why wasn't he at somebody's house that supposedly in his family, wanted him off the street?
Right.
It's not my responsibility to possibly jeopardize my safety by letting some man stay in my backyard and I don't shoot him because he ain't. You know what I'm saying? You asking too much of me. Too much.
Right. Look, I believe in humanity, but you're not gonna get it. If you need help, then you need to knock on the front door and say, I need help, and you can stand there while I call somebody
Exactly.
to come get you, the Red Cross bus or somebody. But yeah, you just trust your instincts. First line, Cornelius Meek said, I found a guy in my house once, but I didn't shoot him, even though I could have. All I can say is trust your instincts. Yes. Sometimes people are in those situations because they are a threat to their own family and can't live with them. Exactly. And that's obviously so, because now that he's dead, you come to his defense. Why didn't you let him stay in your house? Did you not know he was roaming the streets in 26-degree weather? You know?
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Obviously, he had ID on him for them to even know that he had been shot, And once they show it on the news, then, but you also can't blame the family, for what they did or didn't do for him. He looked to be a grown man, of adult age, and he made a conscious decision, conscious or unconscious. He took it too far. He should have he should have jumped right back over that fence that he came over. Go right back the way you came. If you meant no ill intent, or at least say, I have nowhere to live. I'm homeless. Can I sleep in your shed? No, you gotta go. Well, let me call somebody for you. Because I'm not about to stay up all night and watch the windows and the doors because you out there in the shade.
Correct.
No. And that was a pretty tall fence. And he was pretty brazen to jump that fence. Where I live, we don't have alleyways, and everyone has, really tall privacy fences. So if you jump a fence, and those people lived in a pretty open area, I didn't see a neighbor's house close by or anything, right? Mm-hmm. So where I am, you'd have to jump yard to yard because we don't have alleys, So that's something that, to consider too. If someone was in my backyard, I know they meant to be there.
Right, exactly.
That was no accident. You either jump from somebody else's yard into mine, and you're gonna have to keep jumping because we all have huge privacy fences and no alleyways.
I remember like 30 years ago, I was renting a room from this lady, and she was telling me that when I was at work, there would be somebody who would come by, like a homeless person, who would come by, knock on her door, and ask her for money. Or like it happened once or twice. And the first time she gave him 10 bucks or something like that.
Oh
And
no.
then and then she said a couple of days later, and always at night, they came back again, and when she locked, like they rang the doorbell or whatever. And so when she looked outside, they waved. It's like, "Hey, it's me again. Can I
Like
get
a
some more?"
cat. Like a cat. You know, once you feed a cat, they never leave. No,
So,
I'd have told them, look, bro, I helped you one time. You will not keep coming back here.
well, and here's this where I'm going with this. So about the third time they show up, because every time they showed up, she would give them money. So the third time they showed up,
It
she
was
gave
one
them.
person.
I think she said it was one or two. I can't remember. It's 30 years ago.
Mm.
So then I forgot how we got into. Oh, and then I happened to be home like the fourth time they came. I was there, and she
Mhm.
looked outside. She was like, "Oh, that's them again." I was like, "Them who?" Because it was me, her, and she had a little cat or little dog or whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway, she was like, so she told me the story quickly. Girl, I went to that door on her behalf, okay? I said, don't come back here no more. The lady already has been nice to you and gave you some money. Don't keep showing up over here asking her for money, because if you come back
Mhm.
again, I'm gonna call the police. And this was before I was in the 2A community. I could have said something else if I would have been, I was
Right.
young myself. I was like 20 something years old. So and people will take advantage of your generosity. And she was an
Mhm.
older lady, and she didn't know
Mhm.
how to say no, or she was afraid to assert herself in that
Mhm.
situation. And I told him, don't come around here no more asking for
Exactly.
nothing.
Right. And he had, who knows what he does doing he knew enough to know she was at home at night,
Correct.
and he knew exactly when to come. So that makes me think you're watching me.
Her. Right. Just showing up when it's right convenient and all of that. I was like, you ain't gonna do it. So I don't know what happened after I left, but sometimes, people just feel like they allow people to invade their space and their privacy and their right to be left alone, all for the sake of, oh, I don't want to offend this person. Sometimes you got to get,
Or fear of retaliation from that person.
as a matter of fact, they were talking about how parts of Ukraine where they won the war over the Russian troops. And then they were like, but the thing is, now they might come back stronger than ever. And I'm like, you know what? It's like a emotional tug of war. Quit worrying about everything that somebody else might do, because before I act, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, before I say something, or but by the time, if I have to say, look, back up off me, you're doing too much,
You've
you
done too much
you,
already.
you did too much already. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just have to second think when people always are trying to think about the other person when obviously they ain't thinking nothing about you.
Oh no, no, they're not. Because the person that's intending to do you harm, all they're thinking about is whatever their intentions are, whether to get your property, your money, whatever it is that they're looking for to get, that's what they come for. And they mean to do it by any means necessary. You know. Now, say for instance, like I said, in this situation, we didn't see a weapon. They didn't say he had a weapon. Once they investigated after the fact, so we don't know. All the variables, but in the moment, we do not have time to assess mental capacity or intent. As far as I'm concerned, you have breached the space that I call mine. You know how you used to draw a line in the dirt with your feet? You get ready to fight,
Cross this line.
yeah,
And
cross
it's
this
over.
line.
It's
Yeah, but
over,
see, I
Pop.
learned a lesson from that. Somebody telling me to, let's put the stick on your shoulder. While I'm busy knocking the stick off her shoulder, she was punching me in the face. So,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that never happened again. Yeah.
Right. You learn from that.
Yes.
So let's see.
Meek said, I got something they can have, but they'll be coming fast.
I got something they can have, but they'll be coming back.
I know, right? That's what I'm talking about. If you gonna come for me, look, I don't have time to decide. One day, was it last week, or my roommate had left. I didn't know that he had left. And I could hear these men talking very loud outside in the back. And the dogs were barking, just going crazy, right? And then I discovered he was gone. And I was like, I called him, I said, did you leave? I know you left. I was like, because I'm hearing, men talking in the back real loud and whatever. He was like, don't shoot nobody. I was like, look, I'm not looking to shoot anybody. But if they get any louder because they're getting closer, they testing the waters is all I'm saying, And I have motion lights, but the lights didn't come on, but obviously it was my neighbors and something was back there because the dogs were going crazy, And he thinks that he's like, man, I said, look, I'm gonna tell you something. When something happens, you won't have time to assess all that. All you'll be thinking is, what the hell is going on? And let me get my skibbity paps.
So that's what that's we hopefully we have shown people that you can defend yourself, and although you will be subject to possible charges, especially if you have evidence, and now even a warning shot in the air that could get you in trouble because
Yes.
you shooting up out in the air, it's straight, a straight bullet could hit somebody. So, I've been taught that if you go shoot, you shooting at a target. And so,
don't just shoot randomly. Exactly.
right. So, those are just things that we need to make sure we're aware of and make sure we're trained up. And so when things happen, and you have to think fast, you will at least you will have thought out all of these other issues before you actually pull your weapon.
Exactly.
So
The
I wanted
consequences.
to let people remind people that September is Suicide Prevention Month. And so if you feel like if you're having mental issues, or someone who's going through anything, then please try to get them help. There's lots of organizations out there that are there to assist people. So Meeks is saying, why shooting the air not bothering you?
And that's true.
The
The
air
air has absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm not wasting my ammunition. And like you say, when you fire that, when you release that first shot, are you prepared to kill whatever that is that you're shooting at? Because had there been an innocent bystander or another home close by, that bullet could have went into and actually hurt or killed some innocent person.
Correct.
Firing a warning shot is not necessarily going to make them go away. My warning shot is a shot in the leg. That's, you're going to get hit. Now, I'm not necessarily going to shoot to kill, but that'll be the warning shot in your leg, your arm,
Right. You're going to do slow.
Right. You keep coming. You're catching a hot one to the chest, because I'm not trying to wait and see what happens, Because some people, if they're on drugs, they don't even feel it, They just keep coming. And, I can imagine they were that mother and her son were probably petrified, But
so
they didn't call the police during that whole time either.
Well, I don't know. The son might not have wanted to leave his mother, or the phone might have been in the bedroom. You just run to the door with what you got. But what do we have on the show that we're working on? I know you mentioned do you want to tell them about your series that we're working on, or you want to wait and surprise them?
Well, it's just a way to surprise them. Well, what we're working on is some new series on building and or assembling your own rifle. We're going to be talking about all the laws that are changing within that, and how we're going to have to switch up the game some, and how we purchase our rifles for self-defense, because they're wanting to make everything pretty much illegal without a serial number or government stamp. So we're gonna do a series on the entire process, and how you should go about that, and make sure that you get what you want, but also make sure that you're legal. Because as it is, they're making it harder and harder for us to be able to defend ourselves. And the rules don't just change for them and not for us, and that's the problem, right? And with that being said, just this week and every day, I get the emails from different sporting goods stores that I purchased ammo from. And for the longest, there have been limits on how many boxes you can buy. Well, I get an email this week that says no limit. And I'm like, well, when did that start? Right? I was in complete shock, but as long as we're not paying attention, if other groups are taking advantage of the things that are going on, and doing what they have to do to make sure they stay 4 steps ahead, right? And we have to do that as well. And we're gonna focus on these new laws that are coming into play, and what we have to do to maintain our self-defense and our inventory for what we need to have to protect ourselves and our families.
Correct. So we need to have a class on reusing cases.
On reloads.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe we can get Stephanie Marie from Family Ties 2A to come on and talk to us about that. She is amazing at that. She presses her own ammo, and she does a lot of that. And she has gone through all stages of, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so maybe we can get her to come on and, have a discussion with us about that, and talk about the benefits of it, the pitfalls, the advantages of it, because while we're out shopping for it, she'll be over there doing her own,
Right.
Indeed.
Well, we appreciate everyone coming for tonight and commenting. And we are working on, like Phyllis said, a series and other things just to engage you. So if you have any ideas for show topics that you want us to cover, be sure to hit us up on our Facebook page at Second Amendment Sis, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So thanks for joining us, and Phyllis, thank you. And we'll see you next time on Second Amendment Sis.
Now you take care. Get you some hot tea.
I'm about to go in here now and get some. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.